This is one of those things that, it's like 1:30 in the morning and you're down the YouTube rabbit hole and it just popped up. Never Give Up, I think, was the name of this guy's thing. I'm going to put his picture up here because he's got a video up here. Now it's 5 years old, so obviously I'm reactionary to it, but I'm sure the guy exists somewhere. And made me do some thinking. Now I realize that it is easy for me to sit here as a 48-year-old man, already having had my fun, and kind of critique this stuff. I mean, I've got my biology under control. My hormones are, stable. I'm sure suffering from low testosterone, as almost all men are at my age. So it's easy for me to sit here and critique this stuff. It's a different thing to try to live it out, especially when you're young. So I have a certain amount of sympathy. But this guy, well, first of all, he starts this video and he's opening up front and he holds up a liquor bottle and he says, I've drank most of this, I'm just going to tell you up front. So if my words are slurring, that right there is not the best idea ever. You probably don't want to record for posterity when you've been drinking. Well, he goes on as the video unfolds and talks about what it's like to be ugly, and he doesn't get any attention from girls, and has been that way his whole life, and his chin is kind of non-existent. I mean, you can see from the picture that he's just, I'm just being honest, he's kind of a homely kid. A lot of the attributes that he assigns to himself, this defeatist mentality, is under the assumption that you're going to look that way for the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you that you're not. Your facial structure changes over time. He's all hung up about this chin, and it's kind of non-existent. I would assume at some point you can grow facial hair. I mean, that'll help hide that. If you're that tore up about it and you're that insecure about it, maybe do some different things with your features. Maybe cut the Family Guy haircut, what was his name? Chris, the son. It kind of looks, maybe ditch the hat, maybe change the hair. There's a lot of things you can do. Maybe get contacts if you're really that worried about it. I mean, this kid goes on. If you want to watch the video, you can. I'm not going to link it. But he goes on to talk about reconstructive surgery for his face so he can get girls. The second guy, and mind you, YouTube and this, then I didn't even know this sphere existed. So I'm somewhat curious. And I look at the second guy, this Mr. Gaming Guitarist. He's doing the recording in his car. That's fine. The more this guy goes on, he's 27. He's never even had an intimate kiss with a female. Again, it's easy to be the critic, but I understand why. The feminine energy that this boy, man, I don't know, exudes. I can feel the estrogen through the camera. And then he was homeless, and now he lives with his aunt. Things are looking up for him, but he was this kind of beta orbiter of this girl that he just thought was the bee's knees. And he's just kind of hanging around, in her friend zone to hopefully one day he's going to have his shot. And he finally spills his guts to her. And of course, like almost all women do in that scenario, she says, well, I really like you, but not in that way. And I mean, he's just crushed. He's just absolutely crushed by it. I get it. Hey, man, I understand. And especially when you're young, them hormones are raging. Everything seems like this gigantic days of our lives, and it isn't. I can tell you that because I've lived through it. It's not that big of a deal. It is at the time, or seems like it, but it's not, man. It isn't. And if you're young and watching this, I'm talking to you. It's not as near as big a deal as you're making it out to be. Again, I can sit here as basically an old man, old enough to where I'm not playing those stupid games anymore. And it's easy for me to, critique and, don't worry about it. And it reminded me of my youth and the way I felt about things, in junior high and high school. Another thing I'm going to tell you if you are young is that almost none of those people will matter to your future self. You'll have a whole different life. You'll have a whole different set of friends. So when it really got to me was these guys talking about self-harm. And that really is a thing now. The trouble with that is you got your whole life in front of you. Don't do something stupid. I'm going to put some pictures somewhere, either here or up here, somewhere, of known public figures now. I mean, have a look at these lady killers when they were in high school. This is Kirk Hammett of Metallica, Steven Tyler, Aerosmith, Gene Simmons, Kiss. Things change, man. You will change. Your mentality will change. Your physical looks will change. And they keep changing. You have these little spells of, I'm all right. I'm not doing too bad. And then you're... Personally, I don't care anymore. I haven't cared for many years. It isn't worth losing sleep over. It's not worth losing any time over. And it most certainly isn't worth any kind of self-harm. It's just not. Another thing I remembered looking back on things. There were girls here and there when I was in junior high school, that I had crushes on. And I'm so thankful now, looking back to then, that I did not have a steady full-time girlfriend. You people have no idea the kind of fun that would have ruined. It absolutely would have ruined it. And I saw it happen with my friends. One day they're right here and we're all having a great time. And the next day they're off with Sally Yoo-hoo. And, well, she don't think we should be hanging out much, You're a bad influence. That's a bad influence on a lot of people. You're the one that's losing the fun, man. And that's true. I had an absolute blast, but it was a result of my friends, not girlfriends. And I'll tell you something else. At any age, this is my personal experience, but it can be backed up probably mathematically, I don't know. Women cause chaos. By and large, generally speaking. Enter women, enter chaos into a young man's life. Well, any man's life, really. That is my personal experience. Do you want to invite chaos into your life? I mean, obviously these two do, or they don't understand that that's what comes with that. You're going to have opportunities. You'll see that with time. It's coming. Just calm down. And I am somewhat sympathetic, especially now. See, it's a whole different world now than the one I came up in. And I don't want to be the old curmudgeon that, when I was a kid. But to be fair, I mean, the women were better looking. The girls were better looking. That's just a fact. These girls now are kind of shabby. More importantly, their attitudes are shabby. And that's ugly all the way around. So it wouldn't matter if you were in some kind of relationship with them or not. Now you get the chaos and the shabby attitude. Not to mention this whole list of demands they seem to have, that you got to have this and you got to be this and you got to do this. And these women would turn down Jesus Christ. You're just a carpenter? That's not 6 figures. And even if it is, you're not 6 feet tall. That Jesus guy is like, I blocked him. Get real, man. Enjoy your youth. You only get it one time. There'll be plenty of times to invite chaos into your life via females later on. And I'm not talking about all of you, mostly. I'm a bitter old man. But that's one of the things I like about me. I don't care anymore. I haven't cared for a long time about the whole dynamic relationship. It's just a lot of work. And I have finite energy. It sure seems overpowering at times when you're young. I understand that. I am sympathetic to that. Now, this idea of getting captured on video for all of posterity, how you feel like a failure, I don't know if that's a great idea. Better yourself. Improve yourself. Not for the girls. For you. Be your biggest fan. And start from there. Keep at it, man. And definitely, don't bring harm to yourself. You need friends before you need females. That is my advice. Maybe I'm wrong. You can put it in the comments how I'm wrong. Just remember with them comments, I don't really care how you feel, but what I do care about is what you think. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you next time.